Hi Jam fam, welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's episode of Miracle Mindset. Today is a solo episode, but I do have two very special guests, my two favorite people in the whole world who I'm going to be talking to on FaceTime. I'm excited for you guys to meet them. We'll get into that in a minute, but for the meantime, let's get into today's video. So I'm going to be sharing with you guys 10 lessons that I learned, 10 different things that have totally transformed my world, my outlook, my attitude, and in turn have helped me be a happier, more productive person. So let's get into it. The first lesson I've learned in my 20s, and this is a huge one, it's a massive one, and that is to not put your identity into something else. Let's break that down a little bit. For example, if I put my value into my job, and then that job is no longer there one day, then I'm going to lose my self-worth. And this is really, really important because so many times we put our self-worth and our value and our identity into what type of car we drive, what job we have, what relationship we're in. And then one day, for whatever reason, if that thing isn't there, our self-worth crumbles. And this happened to me when I was younger, when I went through the divorce. It really, really impacted me and my self-worth just plummeted because I had been with this person my whole life basically, and I had put my value, my identity as Robbi into that relationship. So when that relationship wasn't there, I crumbled. The second lesson that I learned in my 20s is that friendships change. Your 20s are the years that you go through so many huge life changes. You can move, you change jobs, whatever it is. But all of us are going through these insane changes, not just you, but also your friends. And these friends that you grew up with, maybe you're not gonna have as much contact with them anymore. For me, I've really found that there's two types of friendships. There's the type of friends that you don't talk to, and I mean, you don't necessarily argue with them, but you kind of just lose contact and you kind of just drift away, and then that's that. The second type of friendship, and this is one that is really, really special and that I value, is the type of friends that you don't talk to all the time, but when you do talk, nothing has changed. So for example, my best friend, she lives in Australia. We both have very busy lives. I work a lot. She is at home, she works a lot as well. She also has a newborn baby, which kind of means we don't get to talk a lot, but when we do get to talk, it is like nothing's changed and we are still totally best friends, and we all have those people in our lives. And that is something that I've learned. Don't try to force it. You go different ways, you change. It's okay to say goodbye to friendships even if you do have many, many years behind you. And that was a really tough lesson to learn, that it's actually okay to let friendships go. You know, sometimes you drift apart with people, not necessarily because anything happens, but just because time and location and whatever reason, you're in different places in your life, and it's totally okay to let those friendships go. The third lesson I've learned is to check in on your loved ones. Remember, you're not the only one growing up. The people around you are as well, and that includes your family. So those relationships are really important. They're not going to be around forever, so make sure that you really value them. Make sure that you take the time to check in on them, see how they're going. And as you guys know, I'm Australian. My family lives in Australia. I miss them so much. At the moment, I'm in Los Angeles and they're over there. I haven't seen them in nearly 2 years now, but we FaceTime all the time. We always chat. So I thought this would be the perfect time to introduce you guys to my parents. They shaped me in so many different ways. My dad is American, my mom's Australian, and they're just awesome people. And the older I've gotten, the more I've appreciated them and been able to understand them, and really to kind of just develop this relationship with them, because it wasn't always good like this. Growing up, I definitely didn't appreciate them as much as I do now. I didn't know as much as I know now. So having that relationship with them is really special. So I thought I would call them and actually ask their best piece of advice for their 20s. Hey Dad, how are you?
Good.
Welcome to Miracle Mindset. Guys, this is my dad, this is Spike, and this is my mom, Rachel, hiding over there next to him.
Hi.
Thank you guys for answering my call. I thought it'd be really cool to introduce you guys to everybody and also just ask some wisdom from you guys. So I was hoping to ask you guys, what is a piece of advice that you know now that you wish you knew in your 20s? It's a big question.
Yeah. If I could talk to my younger self, I would tell me to probably think more, dwell more, live more for what's unseen than seen.
Praying more.
A more godly walk, yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so just praying more, really just like investing your time and your efforts and your energies into like faith and into God and His calling for your life.
Yes.
Very cool. It's good advice. I mean, that's good advice at any age. All right, Mama, I want to see your face on camera. You're beautiful. Everyone wants to meet you. Guys, this is my mom, Rachel. She's
G'day everybody.
G'day. She's very Aussie. We love it.
I would have liked to have just trusted in God more. Not thinking that I could just manage everything and just be so busy, multitasking. Just rely that God already had a plan and just be at peace with that. Not thinking that I had some amazing ability just to control everything. Trusting in God and that God's got a good plan for my life and it's better than anything that I can ever hope.
Yeah.
Wish for. Being grateful. So not always just, thinking, oh, it'll be good when I have this done, or, I can run this fast, or I weigh this weight, or, whatever, goal I was trying to achieve. Just be really grateful just where I am and, right then, because it's, when you look back, you go, wow, it was all right.
Yeah.
And really appreciating it, what you have at that time, so that you're living in the moment and you're not just looking, around the corner all the time, looking in the future, just really loving, like when you guys were all little babies, just enjoying just little baby time and all the different stages.
Yeah.
Get so busy and with busy work that sometimes you're not just really enjoying like the little toddler belly chuckles and stuff like that.
Thank you guys. I think that's awesome advice. So basically summing up what Mum just said, she just said really just surrendering more and then being grateful, which is just awesome points, they go, I mean, not just for your 20s, but every single chapter of your life, right?
True, absolutely.
It's never too late to be more grateful and enjoy more and be more present. But how often do we get distracted by, our phones or social media or
enjoying your relationships and people around you and all the blessings. We live in such a lovely, safe place. We should just really value that. I realise just how valuable those things are as I get a bit older.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much. I appreciate you both, and I know everyone will be so happy and excited to meet you guys.
Enjoy the life that we have.
For sure.
Not keep wishing, like Mom said, it's not always going to be better just if. No, we've got it doesn't get any better.
Very true. Well, thank you guys so much. I love you guys. I will call you later.
We love you.
We love you, Robbi. Thank you for listening to us.
Mwah. Thank you for the wisdom. I appreciate you. Got many more mistakes to make, so thank you.
See you later.
Bye, guys. Bye.
Bye.
That was an awesome conversation. I love my parents so much. They are just a wealth of wisdom and they're always giving me good advice my whole life. So I'm glad you guys got to meet them a little bit. So Dad is a dentist in Australia and Mum is an occupational therapist. So they have huge hearts for people and I'm just glad you got to chat with them a little bit. Moving on to the next point. The next point is to stop making excuses and actually apologize. That is definitely something I've learned, is that apologies cost you nothing except for your ego, and generally they solve everything. You'll be surprised how many times sitting down with a genuinely sincere apology, even though you may not necessarily be the person in the wrong, and trying to solve it will actually bring you peace. And the next lesson is that if something doesn't work out, it's for a reason, it's for a purpose. And even though rejection hurts in that moment, if it's a relationship, a job, a career opportunity, whatever it is, there's always another door that's going to open for you. And a majority of the time, the door that's going to open is going to be a much better opportunity than the one that you missed. The next lesson is to eliminate negative people. So many times we keep people around us that don't need to be there, and we do it out of an obligation of how long they've been in our lives. But if these people are bringing negativity to your life, if they're not making you feel good about yourself, if they're making themselves feel better about them by tearing you down, then you don't need that type of energy in your life. It's totally okay to say goodbye to these friendships and relationships if they aren't bringing value to you. And we've talked about it before on the show. There's different types of people. There's people that are drains and there's people that recharge you. So pay attention to how you're feeling when you're around people. And if you're leaving feeling drained, look at that. There's probably a reason why. The next thing I've learned is that the older you get, the faster time goes. And the days are still very long, but the weeks and the months, they fly by. And before you know it, a year's gone by, and then 5, and then 10. So really, exactly like my mum said, making sure that you're being grateful in the moment. Stop, look around, be thankful, because one day you're gonna look back and that moment that you were so stressed and so overwhelmed in is probably gonna be one of the best moments of your life. The next lesson is a good one. It was a bit of a tough pill to swallow, but it's definitely something that I'm starting to understand, and still something that I catch myself doing all the time. The lesson is that most pain in your life is self-inflicted. Let's take a second to break that down. And what I mean by that is most of the time we are our own worst enemy. We get in our heads, we overthink things, we assume things about other people and what they think and what they're feeling about us. And we make up these fictional scenarios in our head that 9 out of 10 times never even happen. And I've said it before and I'll say it again, we probably wouldn't be friends with the person who treated us the way we treat ourselves. You know, we look in the mirror and you're like, oh, I don't look good in this, or I look tired today, or I put on weight. But if someone talked to you that way, if you had a friend and you walked into the room and they said that what you said to yourself to you, if they're like, oh, you look tired today, you've put on weight, whatever it is, you would just be like, like, I don't need your energy in my life, not a chance. So the powerful lesson in the statement, most pain is self-inflicted, is to be more mindful about the way you speak to yourself and the thoughts that you have. The next lesson is don't be afraid if your life doesn't look exactly like your friend's life, or if it doesn't look the way that you pictured it. If you had asked me when I was 15, Robbi, where are you going to be when you're 27? What's going to be happening? I would have told you that I would have been doing dentistry, I would have been married, I would have had kids. It would have been a totally different picture than it is. So you have to let go, surrender, and realize that life happens and sometimes things are out of our control and it's okay. And my final point is to let go and surrender. Very similar to what my mum says, but it makes so much sense. When someone triggers you, when something goes wrong, you make a conscious decision every single time you react to something. You don't have to react that way. You can react being kind. You can react without yelling, without getting upset, without creating drama. When you learn how to react and control your reactions, the ball is in your court. The way you react to a situation is your choice. It gives you the power back. There is no obligation on you whatsoever to be the person that you were 5 minutes ago. You can literally make a decision right now to change the way that you're acting. If you know that you're not acting the right way, if you're not acting in a way that's conducive to achieving your goals, or you're not acting in a way that you're proud of, you are under no obligation to keep acting the way you're acting. You can make a decision to change that. And there's been times that I've had to call myself on my behavior and be like, okay, what you're doing and the way you're acting, even though that person is definitely in the wrong, this is not how you should respond. So when you change the way that you react to a situation, it puts the ball back in your court, it gives you the power back. And that is something I still work on all the time, learning to control my reactions, because as you guys know, so much of life is not about learning, but instead unlearning. So comment below and let me know, what are some of the lessons that you have learned? Did any of these points resonate with you? I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Miracle Mindset. I'm so glad that you got to chat with my parents and hear what they had to say. I'm definitely going to be taking that advice on. That was awesome advice. As always, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Jam Fam. New episodes of Miracle Mindset coming every single week. We have 3 episodes left in this season. Really exciting conversations coming up. And if you wanted to catch up on any of the episodes that we've had so far, I'm going to be linking them all below. All right, guys, I will see you very soon.